there's a very powerful shift going on right now, which is, for 40 years advertising operated on a conceit that you and I are in dialogue, brands and consumers are in dialogue. That is absolutely untrue. Hierarchical companies were structured in such a way to maintain control. They had a monopoly over the media, and they would tell you what to think, they would tell you what to do, smoking is good for you, Levi's will make you cool, whatever. Now people are so pissed off and so enabled by social media that they are bypassing everything that we brand managers may want you to do. They are not watching your ads. They are TiVoing your ads. They can watch television on Hulu, Xbox 360, their computer or their television. They can read a newspaper online. All bets are off. We don't have control anymore. But what do we have control over? We have control over the contribution we make. And why is that important? Because the contribution we make is meaningful to every single person in this room. Shared values are undeniably common property. If I'm going to sit here and talk about the construction business all day, that's not going to interest people. But if I'm going to stand here and I'm going to talk about empowering people to be not just general contractors at their jobs, but really be general contractors, and that they're in control of the bidding process and blah, 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 blah. It's a whole different lens through which you view the same business. And that's a contribution you're making that is meaningful to people that you can talk about. So it's how you look, it's how you listen, and how you talk about yourself that makes the difference in terms of your profit. So you can actually literally explain what you do, or you can sound like who you are. But again, I cannot say this enough. It's not inward out, as all of you are guilty of in this room right now, to a man and a woman. Necessarily, it is not inside out, it is outside in. When you think of your company name, you need to sit there and go, how do I want to be perceived? In a way that either articulates what I do or what I sound like from the point of view of your ultimate market. And even if you're a B2B company, that may, those principles still apply. Now, what do you want to own? When it comes to naming, you have to consider what you want to own. But when you think about it, you want to own the emotional high ground. You want to own the category. And what is the hybrid category all about? It's about some idea, getting some balance between the exploitation, not only of our energy resources, but the pollution of the planet. So it's kind of led to the idea of harmony, and now it's harmony between man, nature, and machine. And that is an expression through the lens of the consumer. It's not like you go further, or more mileage, or more MPG, or whatever it is. It's offering the consumer harmony between man, nature, and machine. Own the word harmony. The Pepsi Refresh project. What do they own? The word refresh. Look at this. What is Coke's global campaign now? Own happiness. They own happiness. Happiness is a constant. Okay? Happiness is a state of being. What's the opposite to that constant? Change. What does Pepsi own? Refresh. You have the two biggest rival brands in the world, one owning the constant state of happiness and one owning the constantly changing state of refreshment. So when it comes to building your brand, in your category, what you want to own, that's reflected in a name that explains what you do or the tone of who you are, think about the high ground in your category. Every single one of you are trying to be the new leadership brand in whatever little silo you're in, even though there are no silos anymore. But you really need to think about what you want to own, and let me explain it this way. Within any product category, there's an emotional pie. Soap powder, okay? Whiter whites, gets out the toughest stains, brightness lasts longer, whatever all the other things are. There are all these different ways that people are coming at the same proposition, which is we just sell stuff that cleans stuff. The same goes for you. You want to own the emotional high ground. You want to basically block out everybody else by owning the biggest part of that category. So I want the Prius to own harmony, because no matter what other hybrid does something in that space, as soon as they approach the area of harmony, the largest proposition in that category, they're coming up against this brand. And that forces them to marginalize themselves. No one can touch happiness without Coke kicking their butt. And refreshment is owned by Pepsi. This is what I mean by the emotional high ground. These are all the filters you overlay when you come to naming your company and deciding on your brand. So what do you sell? If that's what you own, what do you sell? You do not sell what you have. You are selling what the person wants. For example, the construction company. Or even Shaheen with his products. People were looking for escape. They were looking for an emotional high. This product facilitated it even before it was open. Sitting on the table and they're getting their product benefit. And so we called it ecstasy. What do people want? They want ecstasy, they want joy, they want happiness, they want refreshment. This is the dynamics of advertising that are always framed in emotional terms that seem overly simplistic but have worked forever. Why? Because we're human. So how do you do it? Fine. How do you actually do this? You do it by papering the walls with ideas, preferably as artfully as this. And anything less will be considered a penalty. But honestly, I mean, it's a little old school, but what we do in the advertising, we put all these names up on a wall. And I've probably done 500 naming exercises over the last 15 years. Sometimes it takes you 1,000 names. Sometimes it takes 20 names. But if you know what your brand is, you won't even waste time writing down the wrong answer. Because you'll go, no, it's not right. And rather than, oh my God, it could be right, I'm going to put it there anyway, and frying your own brain, you need to sit there and go, oh, I know that's not right, and trust yourself. It's a gut, visceral reaction that comes from an emotional place in yourself. So you put them all up on the wall. Then you interrogate them, and this is what I do. They're all up on the wall, and you walk up over here and you go, that's not right, and you tear that one down. And you wake up in the morning and you go to the bedroom and you take that one down. And you take this one down, and then one day you go, what the hell was I thinking? You take down, you've got like 3 of them. And you're like, okay, fine, I'm not going to, I think I like that one, and walk away. The next day you still like that one. And then you're down to 2, and you go, wow, damn. Then so you reduce, you research them. Say you've got 2 or 3 left. Without giving away, the farm and your concept or whatever else. The way I usually do it is I say to people, I do it the opposite way. I don't say, hey, I got this company and I'm thinking of calling it X, what do you think? I go, hey, if a company was called X, what does it mean to you? And they would go, well, it sounds kind of friendly, it sounds, all in emotional terms. So do it the opposite way. Once you've boiled it down, you've distilled it down to 2 or 3 options, then the final filter between those 2 is redesign the arse out of it. Try all the different fonts, upper, lower case, because sometimes there's a lockup between how it looks and what the actual word is, and you're like, oh my God, that's my brand. And then stop. Because you can drive yourself insane.